Good morning, good morning, good morning. Whether you're on the East Coast or the West Coast, it's still morning. But if you're somewhere far east, good afternoon. Marquise Martin Hayes, your host. Today is Wednesday. So what we're going to do is talk about wellness like we do on Wednesdays. Why? Because it matters. If the core of who you are isn't well, isn't healthy, everything you do is trash at best. Definitely not to your capacity and makes it difficult for you to reach your heights. But before we get started, a couple quick things. Every morning I wash my face. Every night I wash my face. But in the morning, I have something called an AM cream. This AM cream by Rodan and Fields, redefined. Why would I use this every morning? Well, there are several reasons. Number one, it helps get rid of fine lines and keeps my skin smooth. It also has an SPF in it and a moisturizer specifically designed for my face. And this is what I put on in the morning so that I can be prepared all day long. Secondly, we also have SPF 50 as one of our essentials. Now, I got to tell you, there's a couple things I like about this particular product. Number one, it falls in line with our unique skin technology. It's hydrating. What does that mean? It means it absorbs moisture from the air and locks it in on your skin so that you stay moist and hydrated all day long. Unlike lotion, where it just kind of washes off and it just simply absorbs, but it doesn't really coat the skin. This brings in moisture from the air, locks it in on your skin the natural way, and allows your body to stay hydrated. Now, really quick, I used to be one of those people who thought, I'm a brother with melanin. I don't need SPF. Well, here's the deal. Although we don't contract a lot of skin cancer, when we do, the statistics say that we actually die faster. So why play around? Put it on. All right, let's get started. You'll hear noise in the background. I kind of like the idea that we're just out in the world making it happen because that's where you live, right? Let's get started. This morning, I got my friend James Jones. He's a business entrepreneur. He's a physical fitness cat. He's amazing. I can't wait for you to hear about how he's using all that in his life and making a difference, because it's not enough just for you to feel good and look good. It's designed for you to do something with it. Let's bring in James. Good morning, brother. How you feel, man?
Morning. How are you, brother?
All is well. All is well. Thank you for getting up early this morning and joining me, man.
Man, I'm always up early, man. This is my time. This is my time, my brother.
They say those that get things done start early, and I know that
you got to
making my morning a little bit earlier every day, a little bit earlier.
5:30 every morning, brother. That's when my day starts. 5:30.
So listen, man, to give everybody a general idea, so they stay tuned in for the next 30 minutes or so. Sure. Why should they listen? Tell us a little bit about you so they get an idea.
Well, I'm as you said, I'm a fitness junkie. I don't even want to say guru, just a junkie. Constantly working out. 47 years old. We'll turn 48 this year. I'm saying the old guy thing. I'm in the best shape of my life. That's what we say when we're our age. But I really truly believe it. I really truly believe it. Also, we do a lot in the community, me and my company, my organization. I'm on the board of directors for two great foundations. One is Concerned Black Men of Los Angeles, which we'll get into later. Yes. That is, we're a mentoring organization for young Black boys and girls, ages 11 to 18, which is the age, right?
That's the age
that's the age we're going to lose them. And so I'm on the board of directors for that. I'm also on the board of directors for Food Share of Ventura County, which is part of the Feeding America network. And so we feed a lot of people monthly. And so I'm on those two things because, one, I've been hungry before. So I know what it's like to be hungry, and to not know. So I know that. So and I had an uncle who's not here anymore, and he ran a food pantry in Southeast Arkansas, and he changed lives.
Wow.
And it's not enough. It's not enough for me to have my head on my name on a tombstone. I want my name on a building, on a legacy. You know what I mean?
Come on.
Everybody gets their name on a tombstone. How many people have their name on a building? How many people have their name on a legacy? How many people's names live because of what they did for the earth? For our people. So that's my goal. Those are my two things right there. And then I run a full service consulting firm and a packaging company down in Texas. So I'm busy. Oh, and by the way, I'm married with two boys that have an endless amount of energy.
so you gotta stay fit.
I gotta stay fit, brother. It's not even a question, brother. It's not even a question. So and there's no way you can do all those things and not take care of yourself.
That's real.
There is no way.
Yeah. So that leads me to one of my first questions, because I definitely want to know more about some of the things you've been able to create as a result of having energy and focus.
Yeah.
It's so funny. We grew up together, and in my mind,
yes, we did.
You'd never been hungry. Like, it just wouldn't even register. You know what I mean? So what happened in your life that made, because y'all have to understand, y'all think I'm slim and tight. My boy was slim and cool. He was real, like, really cool. He was great. Now he's on the gram, like, looking all, you know, like, kapoo. And so,
I was pretty lean back in that.
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
I was kind
so
of
what happened? What made that transition for you?
Well, I mean, again, we haven't seen or talked to each other in 30 years, man.
Been a minute.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, we both have had like a whole lifetime of experience since we both have seen each. We've lived probably, I mean, in your case and my case, we've probably lived 2 different lifetimes, but since the time we've seen each other. Yeah. So absolutely, man. After high school, and I think you went a little bit before me. After high school, I ended up going to an HBCU. Arkansas Pine Bluff. Ended up going to an HBCU. I recommend it if you got kids that are college age, especially now, especially nowadays. HBCUs are necessary. I always tell people, I don't have racial issues in college that I had to deal with. You know,
I know, right?
I don't have any of it. Yeah, I had a community, and just as a side note, I went down there, and you really learn to fall in love with your own people.
That's cool.
So you fall in love with your own people. And so I would highly recommend going to an HBCU. That changed my life.
Okay.
That literally changed my life. And what allowed me to do was develop who I was as a person and not have to worry about what society thinks about Black people. Not have to worry about this is how I should act or this is how I should be. You know, I just got to develop as I was as a person. So when I went into the world, when I went into the workforce, I was a whole person. I wasn't somebody going to try and be like somebody else. I didn't go thinking, okay, this was the act I had to do.
Right.
This is what I had to do. I walked in as me, and you were accepting me as me. You know, and and I always looked at it as you didn't accept me as me. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. So I never ever let racism determine anything in my career. So I was able to move up because it was just like, if you have a problem with me being Black, that's kind of your problem. I don't really have time for that. So let's go.
I like it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And so that I learned in college. I learned that's an attitude that was developed and learned in college, you know, going to an HBCU. And if you talk to a lot of HBCU grads, that's kind of how we get down.
That's good. Yeah. That's that ability to know yourself such that any opinion outside of it has nothing to do with you. One of the quotes I heard growing up a lot that I tell my daughters is other people's opinion of you is none of your business.
None of your business.
Like
none of your business.
At all.
None of your business.
The only game is whatever you got to get through it.
Get through it. Because in the end, they're going to talk about you anyway. They're going to talk. In the end, it's going to be people are going to have an opinion on you anyway. What's your opinion of you? That's the important thing to me.
That alone, my friend, what's your opinion of you is a whole other conversation that
absolutely
really,
we got
town hall.
Yes. Every time we talk, we go into a whole bunch of subjects. We're like, man, we got to dig into that.
It's a must, man.
It's a must, brother. Absolutely.
It's a must. That's interesting because not even to fully tie it back around for a conversation's sake, but when I think about wellness, if you don't feel good, it's going to be difficult for you to show up as you. Like you can't. You have to be like have some great sales gene in you to where you can cover it up, to where if you're not doing well, you have to be able to overcome so much. And if you're able to do that, think about how much better you'd be if you actually just took care of yourself. You know, think about how much more confident, how much more confident you would be, how much more you'd kill it. I mean, think about any study. You say all things being equal, the more attractive person gets the job, the better looking company gets the contract. You know, the more all things being equul, right? So why limit yourself on anything? You know, man, that's good. That's good.
And but especially as a black man, and you can go into think about cholesterol, you know, hypertension, think about all the stuff. And we start with wellness. The one thing we don't do, and everybody comes to me, people come to me a lot and say, oh, I want to get in shape. I want to do this. I want to do that. First thing I ask them is, when was your last doctor visit? When was your last? Because you got to start somewhere. If you're going on a journey, are you not going to have a map? Are you not going to put it in your GPS? Are you not going to know? How are you going to know how to get where you need to go? So when was your last doctor visit? When was your last full physical? When did you get checked? How do you know what type of diet you need? How do you know you need to be keto? How do you know that you need to separate your fat? So you need to go on a low carb. How do you know any of that without getting your cholesterol tested, without getting your triglycerides tested, without knowing your A1Cs? How do you know where you should start? You don't. Okay, so start there first.
I love it.
Love it. Go to it. Get your report. That's your health book report, and do it every year. Do it every year without fail. Get your health book report. Then once you have that, because you may not know, maybe you have a high, maybe you have a tendency for cholesterol. Then I would not suggest a keto diet.
Right.
I really would.
Right.
Maybe you have a high maybe you have high blood pressure and salt gets you. So I wouldn't suggest anything that has a lot of vegan products that are processed have a lot of salt in them.
Come on, man.
I know. So, but how do you know that? That's where you got to start. If you're not starting there, what are you doing? So you start there, then you come with your meal plan. How are you going to eat? Based on where you are, and everybody's different.
Yeah.
Then you do your workout plan. You do that, but everybody does it backwards. I'm just gonna go to the gym, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna start walking. I'm just gonna and all those things are great. I'm saying, don't if you're not doing anything else, just start doing that. But go to the doctor, man. Go to the doctor,
dude. Listen. I hear you clearly, and I can clearly see how you translated that right into business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you gotta have one. What do you want to start? I started my first business back in 2016 after I left a very lucrative job. Started my business, and I needed to know where was I going to go. It wasn't just, I want to start selling this. I want to start doing this. I needed to know where. And then I had a talk with entrepreneurs in El Salvador last year. Okay. They flew me down, and I got to talk to a bunch, and that was awesome. But the one thing I told them is the most important aspect of your business you got to manage is you. So you got to manage your mental health. You got to manage your physical health. You got to manage your time. You got to manage your stress level, because it's when you're the owner, when you're the face of the business, as you go, so goes the business, and you have people working for you. So now it's not only your family, it's a bunch of different families you got to think about. So, how's your health? How are you unplugging? And honestly, you're hearing this from a bit of a hypocrite, by the way.
We're all learning, so bring it. It's all good.
I'm not necessarily the best at doing this. I do understand the need, though. I do understand the need.
Yeah.
Just how do you unplug? How do you make sure that that you're taking care of yourself? How do you make sure that you're not ignoring the people that really matter the most? I mean, how do you make sure you're keeping your family, engaged and with you? How do you make sure you're doing all that? And it's not easy. And anybody that tells you it's easy, they're lying. They just lied to you.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
So, one of the things you talked about that I think is really critical is we don't really comprehend, and I love for your practical perspective on it. We don't comprehend that so goes my health, my body, who I am, then everything else around me is affected by it. Like, we tend to look outwardly, right? Like our culture always, it's you, it's that, it's this, versus no, your free radicals are out of control, and or your hormones are in the dumps because the last 3 days all you've done was consume crap, and you're not and we are not owning that. So what are some of the practical ways that maybe you self-identify? You're like, oh man, I noticed this, so I got to go do that, or you've been able to prevent because of your good habits. So you can share either side.
Sure. So I'll tell you a story. One, you're raw vegan. So I started this journey back in 2004 where I stopped eating beef. In 7, I stopped eating. In 7, I stopped eating chicken, and then I went turkey and fish, and now I'm moving toward being a vegan. I mean, I may eat fish once a week, but then I'm moving away from that. And so what I've noticed is mental clarity. First off, when you're eating a bunch of stuff, It just weighs you down, and all that stuff is going through your system.
Yeah.
And again, unless you are literally the strongest mental person in the world, that you can block out every little thing, and you can eat crap, not exercise, and still go perform highly at your job. I haven't met you yet. I haven't heard of you.
We need to interview you.
Yeah, we need to interview you. I need you on my team. If you need a job, come holler at me. But I mean, but it doesn't really work like that, right? It works more like you start taking care of you, and then what you find is it's like a series of control, right? If I can control, we tend to think is there's so many things outside I can't control, right? I can't, but focus on what I can control. What's the first thing I can control? What goes in my mouth? What goes in my body? That's the first thing I control. So let me control that first. Then what's the second thing I can control? How I spend my time. You know, how I spend my time. What do I choose to do? How do I spend? How do I replenish? How do I replenish myself? I can control that. That's 100% on me. Even if I have a job, if I have a demanding job or something like that, when I go home, I control what I'm gonna do. So I'm not saying it's easy, and it's not easy for some people, but you do have control over it. So I control what goes into my mouth, what's my time. Then I can control my activities. Okay.
I like that.
These are the activities. These are the activities I can do. And then I'm not saying I'm flawless at this, but that's just how I go about doing what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat. So what I'm going to eat today is going to affect what I'm doing today. So I know what it is.
Pause. Because I teach that, and I need people to really get it, because it's come from someone other than me.
Yeah.
What did you say?
We've never had this conversation.
We've never had this conversation.
Yes.
But
what I eat controls. What I eat controls what I'm going to do today. What I put in my body, that's going to be my output. That's what my body's going to use to tackle whatever I got to do for that day. So if I choose to not doing it, I'm going off reserves. Your body's a great compensator, right? So if you don't get this, it's going to use something else, and it's going to use something else, and then it's depleting other things that you need. And you might be able to get through a day, a week, but you're going to crash. You're going to crash.
I tell people,
it's not going to be at it. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
You know, I hate to interrupt. I'm so sorry, but that point you dropped was so rich that I'm really hoping people grab it today. Oftentimes people say, well, what do you want for lunch? What do you want for dinner? It's like, no. Like, that's cool. But if you don't have really good habits, the question you should be asking is, what do I need to get done later that will determine what I'm going to eat now?
Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely.
It's not the other way around.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. Now, I knew yesterday. And I can't. You and I talked about what was happening yesterday, and I'll reveal it later. But yesterday I had to do a lot of manual work. A lot of just digging and shoveling and everything like that. So I knew what I had to eat in that morning, and what I had to make, what I made and brought for me for lunch was what had the things to fuel me during that day. Exactly. I knew they would have provided lunch. I knew they would have provided lunch there, but I don't know that would have been what I needed. You know what I mean?
That's
I know
real.
what I needed. So
that's real.
I chose to make what I was going to bring, which I knew what was going to get me through that day. What I drank, how much water I drank, and all that. It was all commensurate with what I'm doing, with what I needed to do. Okay.
And you took responsibility to make sure that happened. You weren't relying on someone else, but you found yourself complaining about what someone else did, because you started with your first point. It starts with what you do for you.
Absolutely. I'm not going to complain about somebody's free lunch, about giving it to me, and it wasn't what I needed. I could have brought my
But they brought the donuts. I had to eat them, James.
I had to No, you didn't have to eat them. You didn't have to eat them. And if you have this propensity to eat donuts because somebody just simply puts it in front of your face, why don't you bring in an alternative for you? Since you're that weak that that a donut can't be put in your face, then block that temptation. No, thank you. I have this.
It's good.
But again, who controls that? You, not nobody else. You. Who controls that? You do.
And when we don't control it, because we are the source of our happiness.
Yes.
If we don't control that, we will automatically, naturally blame somebody else down the road for what they have done or not done.
Absolutely.
Instead of realizing what's happening here.
Absolutely. I heard Ricky Williams, running back. Back in, he got drafted by New Orleans.
I remember.
Played for Miami. Yeah. So he said something about blame, and he said, "Blame. I don't do blame, because blame means I just gave you the power over what happened to me."
Come on, man.
I gave you the power. If I'm blaming you, that means I gave you all the power over me. No, I don't blame you. What happened to me is me. I didn't recognize something. You did this to me, and I should have looked at this. This happened to me. I should have looked. So next time I'm going to do this. I'm not blaming you. I'm not giving you that power. You don't deserve that. You know what I mean?
That's
you don't
real.
deserve that.
Yeah. So say more about how you've taken, so you've mastered you, right? Which is the number one most important thing.
I have not mastered me. I study me every day.
But that's good. But that's part of it, right? That's mastery development, right? So even I'm not raw vegan as much as I like to be. I occasionally dabble and have some salmon. It's rare, but I do. And I don't justify it. It's like, okay, well, why did I have it? Oh, because my omegas were low, because I was undisciplined in how I was preparing my other foods. And so now I am where I am. And I don't get a guilt trip about it.
No.
But I know that I don't function optimally when I've gotten to that place. So it's a continual work in progress.
Absolutely.
And so, that is part of mastery, though. Like, you're continually refining.
That's what a master of something is, right? If you talk to somebody who's mastered anything and you ask them, what are they about to do when they wake up? I'm going to practice.
Yes.
Whatever it is. Yes. I'm going to practice. What am I going to do? You talk to Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. I love that Last Dance. Shout out to ESPN for that last. We needed that because we didn't have anything else to watch. But what did he do? Every day. This was the greatest basketball player and what did he do every day? He got up and he practiced. Now, he never once thought he was good enough that he didn't have to work harder. He's mastered this, so he doesn't have to do it. So every day, yes, I'm refining what I eat. Every day I look at me and think, how could I have done better at that? Every conversation that was a contentious conversation that I've had with anybody, business or personal, I go back and I think, okay, how could I have handled? Where did I contribute?
Yeah.
What did I do? Even if somebody was how did I contribute to that? Because I control everything. So if something happens, there's something I did or didn't do to contribute to it. I'm not giving you blame. I'm not doing that for you.
Bro, and you said in business, if we did more of that in our homes at the end of every day, our relationships would be better, more effective. We would accomplish more together if we took the time to review, how did I contribute to that? Like, what was not what did they do that triggered me? What was my role? What's in my space that created this situation?
Absolutely. Good. And it's really easy to look at somebody else. And I'm not, by all means, I'm not saying I'm perfect at this because I am human.
But it's a practice.
It's a practice. It's just the practice is how you do things. How can I be better? How can I have done better? Even if it went great. Yeah. Was there one little part I slipped? Now, this is where you got to be careful. This is where you fall into my trap. Okay. Is you will overanalyze yourself. So if you sit there and you will nitpick yourself. It is hard for me to watch myself speak. If I give a speech or anything and it is hard for me to look at a speech and look at what I'm doing because I will pick myself apart. Yeah. I will sit there. I'll notice when I said something and I should have said this, or I said something I should have said. So be careful with that part of it because that's the downside to it. And I'm way on the other side on that one. I will literally just go through and literally rip myself apart for something I did, and in the aspects of trying to get better. Now I've gotten better at that because it doesn't. What I realize is it doesn't matter who's tearing you down, whether it's you or somebody else. You're still getting torn down, right? Right. You're still getting torn down. Right. Yeah. Even if it's you doing it, and you can have the best intentions, or your friends doing it because they're trying to be your reality check or tell you something, you're still getting torn down. You're still getting torn down. So you just be careful how many times you tear yourself down. A lot, and I'm the worst at that. Yeah. Okay?
And you know what? Here's the good news. Yeah. When we are balancing, in the sense of and again, this is not intentional tie around, but it's just fits. Yeah. Taking care of ourselves, releasing dopamine and good hormones from our brain helps us correct some of those things so we don't go down this cliff, right? The worst thing a person can do is not take care of themselves and have a propensity to self-pity or depression. It's only going to feed that and drive it down.
Absolutely. Bruce Lee said, never talk bad about yourself because your body's not going to know the difference. Your body's not going to know the difference. Your energy, your aura, your energy is not going to know the difference. If you think, I'm this, even if you're joking, your energy is not going to know the difference. Right. Speak life into yourself, speak life into other people. But again, I'm terrible at this because I talk bad about myself all the time, and I get it. And so I'm that's one of the things, and that's when we talk about master. There's always another level you can go for self-improvement. There's always something else you can work on. There's always some kind of way you can be better. There's always. And if you think this is how I am, and people just need to accept me, there's a degree of that. There is a degree of that.
Yeah.
You do need to have people who recognize who you are
Yes.
and accept you as a person in your circle. But you also need to recognize whoever you are, you got things to work on. And you will have things to work on until they throw dirt on your face, homie.
That's
so
real.
That's real. I mean, so from the day you go to the day that you'll take your last breath, you will have things to work on.
Yeah.
You know, you hear about 95-year-old woman, she just graduated from college. Why? Because she's working on herself still.
Which is
you know what I mean? Absolutely. So, but you got to be careful. You just can't go overboard. You just can't, which I have a tendency to do.
Yeah. You know what's interesting, Brian, is I heard the other day, about a week ago, that only 5% of the people will read a self-help book this year.
Mm-hmm.
So for all the work that we need to do, we need to really tap into the resources available to help us chunk it down a little bit faster. Like the idea that, like, I love what you said, like we all have work to do and it's important. But I really struggle with people who just accept me for me because this is who I am. Whoa. Who you are might not be the best person around. Yeah. And you might want to work on that a little bit.
Yeah. Just a little bit, just a tad. Maybe how you interact with people, how you talk to people, maybe that kind of thing. You can't. If you are the type of person who if you're the type of person who's very talkative or that kind of thing, you're not going to change that part of, but you can change what comes out of your mouth.
You know how you say what you say,
or how you say what you say. You can do that. You know, you can explore other things. And I truly believe, and I know you're a believer of this, is getting around, getting to other people, looking at other people, having friends that don't necessarily look like you, traveling, that kind of thing will expand your horizon. Mark Twain said, travel eliminates bigotry. And I believe that.
Yes.
You know, you can't be, I don't understand. You can't be a racist and have traveled over the world and looked at people and experienced different cultures, because you look at the people that you know that are bigoted or all that, they're people that tend to stay, they're in a homogeneous population. They tend to stay in one area. They tend to only be one thing. If you expand yourself, then there's no way you can look at all these things in the world and look back at yourself and think, yeah, I'm good.
It's impossible. It's impossible. I tell people all the time, like, if you grew up in a city, you need to spend some time in some small towns and learn what it's like to be in local community. If you grew up in a local community, you need to get the heck out of there and get to a city and get swamped and swallowed and discover there's so much more. It is the most easiest way to control how we think when we don't travel or move or expand ourselves.
Absolutely. And it's key, man. It's key because, again, you're constantly working on yourself. How can you be better? And we're both fathers.
Yeah.
I would hate to. Oh, absolutely. 100% best thing in the world. Best thing in the world.
Yes, it is.
But what are you putting into your children? What are you putting into your children? What kind of life do you want? I want my kids to just have options. I want them to see that the world is an option for them.
Yes.
And that there's not this path that's I want the kids that we work with at CBMLA to understand that the world is an option for them. That there's not just this path you're supposed to go. How are you going to learn that? Read, travel, open your eyes, look at something, constantly be improving yourself, that kind of thing. That you can't tell me you're not better. You just can't tell me you're not a better person if you do that. I would challenge that argument all day, you know? Yeah.
What are some of the things you guys are doing over at CBLA? Break it down for us.
So we're a mentoring organization fully. So we deal with children with young boys and girls aged 11 to 18. We start at the elementary school level with after school programs, and then we have a welcome to manhood after elementary school. When you get into middle school, we have a welcome to manhood, welcome to womanhood, where they're separate. The girls are separate. The girls have female mentors who, and because you want it to be a safe place for young girls to speak. And for young boys, we have male mentors, and there are no parents. We sit in there and we talk about real issues, and we go through real stuff, but not just real stuff, just things like, if you don't have a father, who's going to tell you this stuff? How to tie a tie. How do you do a budget? How do you set up a checking account? How do you open a checking account?
Yes.
You know, different things about what is credit? What is credit? Why should you care? You know, what is it like to own a house? How is college? And one of the things we did this year, where we talked about sexual assault, and all the sexual assault and awareness, they all tend to go to girls,
Right.
But that's ridiculous.
Right.
The number one cause of rape is rapists. It's not anything
man.
else.
That's good.
Rapists are the number one cause of rape. Who's doing the raping? So who should get sexual assault awareness? It's these young boys. They should understand this is how you treat women.
Come on, man.
This is how you should talk to women, and especially Black women, who are probably the most marginalized class of people in the country. This is how Black women are marginalized. This is how you don't do it. This is what you need to do. This is how you treat your mother, your sisters, your aunt, and eventually you will have a girlfriend. This is what you do. This is, what would you do on a first date? How would you ask for that first date? All the things you'd have, the conversations you'd have with your mother or father that you can't have for whatever reason. We try and fill that void. We also give scholarships, and and then once you've gone through Welcome to Manhood, Welcome to Womanhood, you get into something called Emerging Leaders, and those are the kids about ready to go to college. And we've given out scholarships. We prepare them for college. We take them on college tours. We took them on tours here in California. We took them on a couple years ago, Stanford, UCLA, and they met the Black freshmen there. So this is what it's like to be a Black freshman at this school. Our goal is to take them to HBCUs at some point. Just there are no HBCUs in California or closest. The closest ones are in Texas. And so our goal is to take them to HBCUs and have them see that side of things. But let them understand, the school to prison pipeline doesn't have to be for you.
Correct.
That's what our youth go through in the cities. They're born, they go to school. In school, they teach you how to act. They teach you how to act in an institutionalized environment. This is where you need to be. These are the fences. This is what you don't do. And then we round you up. We separate you. We do everything. And I'm not blaming the schools because of the budget cuts and the funding and everything. This is how they've had to, and the lack of apathy from us as parents. This is how they've had to evolve and do that. But that's the game right there. And then after school, you've been fully trained on how to act in prison. And so you go to that.
Real, man.
So we're breaking that cycle and letting them know, look, there's a plan laid out for you. America has a plan for you. This is America's plan. But our ancestors had a plan for you too. And they fought and died to give you this option. America may not want to show you this option, but this option is there because too many people have fought and died for you to have it. So that's what we do at CBMLA.
That's what's up, man. Okay, so what's the URL for that? Because I know people want to contribute and find ways they can help.
Absolutely. You can go to cbmla.org.
Excellent.
You can go
Make
to
sure
cbmla.org
too.
cbmla.org. You can go there. It has everything about our organization where you can join. If you go in, submit an application, you'll get a phone call within 24 hours from me talking to you about why do you want to join, what kind of skill set, where do you think you can know. And then after we both agree that it's a fit, then you pay your membership dues and then we put you to work.
That's good, man. That's good. And what about the other one you're contributing to?
Okay, so I'm also on the board of directors for Food Share of Ventura County. We're part of the Feeding America Network, and Food Share of Ventura County, if I had to come up with a word, godsend is honestly it. Godsend. I mean, they feed so many people. They feed hundreds of thousands of people yearly. And one of the reasons I got into it is I have an uncle who ran a pantry in Southeast Arkansas, and I would go and I would talk to him, and he and my aunt. They both, my uncle's no longer with us. My aunt still is. And they ran a pantry, and just how they helped. And one thing I noticed with the food pantry, it wasn't homeless people coming in there, just give me. These were families. These were working families who just needed to get through the week, or who the bills got short and it's 2 weeks left in the month, and I just need some groceries. I just need to be able to get through. And they were people of all colors. And they were people. And so being that, and it just totally flipped what I thought of a food pantry. And then when the opportunity came about a year and a half ago to be a member of Food Share of Ventura County, I just jumped on it. I live less than 10 miles from Ventura County. My first real job as a manager, where I actually ran my own place, that was in Ventura County. I have plenty of friends there, so Ventura County is like my second home. It's a very quiet, cozy little county in northwest corner of LA. So love it. We do a lot. We have mobile pantries because of the pandemic. We set up all sorts of mobile pantries where people can just drive up and we give them bags of food.
That's huge.
I mean, it's huge. It's huge. And so being a part of these two, I'm also on the board of directors for my church as well too. I don't want to leave them out.
You'll get a phone call.
Yeah, I would. Hope's House Christian Ministries in Granada Hills. I love y'all. But with Food Share, it's just, and then listening to, being on the board and listening to all these people, these high-powered executives who in the end, all they care about is feeding people. I mean, just people who have these really, really huge, important jobs and, you know, who deal with a lot. And they're really concerned about the one family. Are we making sure that we call that we call back that one family? Are we making sure that the people in this area, how are we going to serve this area? And we all put our hands where our mouth is, because we're all there. We're there volunteering, putting bags of food. We're all there. We cut off our time. So just I've always been involved in charities. I've been leery about getting on the board of charities because I haven't seen charity a lot. I've seen a lot of charities where people just want to be on the board to help their brand, you know, to do that. This helps me. This is a little tagline on my LinkedIn page or something like that. So when I got involved, I wanted to get involved. I wanted to do it something that was going to speak to me, and God brought both. Literally, I didn't seek either one of these out. God brought them both in my lap. Rocky Cuso came to a function that I spoke at.
Okay.
And he had a CBMLA shirt on. I asked him for the number and how I did it, how to get into it, and then I went and checked it out, and that's how I joined. That just fell in my lap.
That's cool, man.
A friend of mine told me about Ventura County, Food Share of Ventura County, and said, hey, they're looking for a board member. They saw your profile and they'd love to talk to you because they think you have a voice they need to hear. Boom. So it's like God brought those to me because he knew I wanted to serve, I wanted to give, but I wanted to do something that spoke to me, though. Yeah. And those two things, mentoring Black youth and helping feed hungry Americans, both of those speak to me.
All right, so you're a father.
Yes, I am.
You're a hubby.
Yep.
You're a mentor.
Yes.
You're on 2 boards. You own your own company. 3 boards. Oh, 3 boards. You own your own company. How are you doing all this?
I own 2 companies.
You're on 3 boards. I own 2 companies. 3 boards, 2 companies.
2 companies. Yeah.
How is it that you get to do all that? How are you being able? What allows you? I mean, you've got to have a ton of energy to do that, man.
Well, one, I have the most amazing wife. Literally. So I do have the most amazing wife. Shout out to my wife. I have the most amazing wife who is truly a partner in the whole thing. You know, and we're aligned on our life goals. You know, our kids are the light of our lives, and we're aligned on our goals that we want for them, and we're aligned on the goals that we want for our lives. And we both have our own individual goals, and we both support each other's individual goals. Good. So I couldn't do it without that. First of all, so if I didn't have that, none of this is gonna. So if I didn't have the most supportive partner in this whole thing, it wouldn't have went down that way. Secondly, I know me. A lot of self-awareness, a lot of self-reflection. I know what my tipping point is. I know what I can handle. But most importantly for me is I know if I don't fill myself up, my time up with certain things, I'm gonna I'm gonna do it anyway, and it may be things that aren't part of what God wants me to do. It may be things that aren't good, you know, that just don't help me. You know, it just, not that anything would be destructive, but it just may not be things that. So it's like I have to have this balance of not overloading myself, but I can't underload myself either, because that's literally just as dangerous for me.
So what is that? Can you give us a little bit of insight into those core things that you do that allow you to have that level of focus and accomplish the thing?
Sure. So first thing is a routine. In everything, in every aspect of my life, I have a routine. I'm not a big regimented routine person. And so that was the first self-reflection I noticed. Anything structure-wise or anything, I'm not big on that. However, I've had to learn. Being a manager, I was a manager straight out of college. I've never had a job where I wasn't somebody's boss, you know, straight out of college. So I first learned
HBCU. I'm just saying.
HBCU, but baby. So what I had to understand is, even though I don't like structure helps. So I had to learn, and I had to learn to get myself to a point where I had to deal with structure. what works best with me is an outline structure, a structure of where I have to be, things I have to do, and then something that allows me to free flow in that. So one, it's a structure. One of the things that I do every night before, there's a thing I do called a 10 before 10. And it's 10 things I want to get done the next day before 10 o'clock in the morning.
So I love it.
10 before 10. So 10 things.
I might adopt that.
Before I go to bed, I write down 10 things, and it can be 10 anything, business, personal. Hey, gotta make sure I order this for the boys, or make sure I take my medication because or this, or I've started this new supplement, so make sure I do that, or mark this, or go work out. Make sure you hit this body part, or complete that contract, review that contract that your business partner sent you. Answer that email. Whatever it is. 10 things that I need to get done before 10. So that way, no matter what happens after the day, I can go back to 10 things I got done that morning. So, and as an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur, you can understand, you can try and put these are the things I want to do, but as an entrepreneur, the thing you're going to do is flow to the work. That's what you're going to do. You're going to flow to the work. It's wherever the work is, that's where your time, that's where your attention is going to go, whatever needs to be done at that particular moment. So you can literally, by 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night, you can look and what the heck did I do all day? But I can always go back. Oh, these are the things I did. So at least I got that. The other thing, if you're going to do your 10 before 10, they can't be 10 things that are going to take you a long time, because what you're going to end up doing is depressing yourself. It's got to be 10 things you can get done before 10 o'clock that morning. So I'm up at 5:30 every morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock. So that gives me roughly 4.5 hours, to get stuff done. And so that's the first thing. And then in the morning, I get up and I say a prayer. And I say a prayer. I thank God for, first thing is my life, my health, and my strength. Those are three things he's always given me, and I've never ever really faltered on that, because every morning I thank him for those three things. I've always been relatively healthy. I've always been relatively strong, and my life has always been fulfilled. So those are three things I thank him for. I don't ask him for, because he's just given those to me. So I do that, and then I thank him. Then the thing I say is, God, I want to do what you want me to do today. I have a plan, but let me go where you want me to go. So that's, again, I'm flowing to the work, and I just go, and it says something comes across, and it's like, you know what, I should probably pay attention to this. And I've been right every time. The time I've been wrong is when I've deviated, when I've decided this is what I'm going to do.
But that only happens because you study yourself.
Yeah, because I study myself. So I know so those two things, that's how I start off my day. And then the day goes for there. So, and I plan out what I'm going to eat. I mean, I literally think, okay, for breakfast, I'm going to do this for breakfast this morning, because this didn't work yesterday. And then for lunch, it's like, this is the lunch I'm going to have. And then for dinner, I don't know. I may not know what I'm going to eat, but I know by dinner time, I know what I haven't had or what I've kind of lacked for that day. And then I make that up in dinner. And, I know I have big macros on, like, I know I need to hit my calorie count. I know the type of protein count I need to have, and all my protein is all plant-based now at this point. So absolutely. So all my protein and all my proteins and fats come from plant sources. So no cholesterol for your boy.
Amen.
So that's it. So I always have this moving map in my head of, this is what I've done so far, this is what needs to get done, and I'm constantly reshaping it to the end of the day. Because if I had a structure, this is what I need to do at 2 o'clock, and obviously if there are conference calls, meetings, that gets thrown in the schedule and everything gets worked around that. But if I had I need to get this, and this, that, I'd fail every time. And then I'd be so depressed, like, what is wrong with me? Why can't I do this?
I understand.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, that's making a plan without knowing yourself. That's making a journey without actually realizing where you're starting from. So first thing you need to notice is yourself. Know yourself, and you can never stop. You can never master yourself. You just can't keep going, man.
And what's so funny is, unless you're actually, I'm looking at the camera on this one, unless you're actually taking care of yourself on a daily basis, you do not know yourself. A facade of yourself. Yourself with symptoms and issues that you know how to work around, but you don't know yourself.
Absolutely. You don't know. It's impossible. So take care of yourself. And nobody's saying you got to be ripped and shredded.
Not at all.
Saying you got to be doing, and nobody's saying you got to be doing all that. But the key thing is you can be healthier every day. You can be healthier every day.
Yeah.
You know, I used to do this thing where every day I had when we had chalkboards and whiteboards, I had this thing in my office where I had 2 goals, and then I had to write down what I did that day. And then I had to look, did that help that goal? I did that. Did that help that goal? Did that help that goal? You know, just something simple. My goal is I need to lose 15 pounds. Well, today I took the elevator instead of the stairs all day.
It's good.
Okay. You know, so it's always putting me back in front of me. It's putting me back in front, and we don't tend to want to look at that. But all I do every day is how can I put me back in front of me? And if you're focused on that, if you notice, brother, I don't talk about other people. I don't talk bad about other people. I don't have time because who's the person I need to focus on is me. Me. I don't have, because if I'm focusing on what I got to do, I don't really have time to be worrying about somebody else's business. You come to me, you want help, I'm gonna help you. But I'm not gonna have bad opinions about you because I ain't got time to worry about that. I can do you. You know, and so I think if, like you said, if more people did that, I think how much further away would we be? Would you chase, if you're worried about yourself, would you chase a man down that you don't think belongs in your neighborhood because he's running? No, you're worried about yourself. Would you go bother somebody who wrote something on their wall and it ain't your wall anyway? No, because you're worried about yourself. You're worried about what
it's real, man.
You know what I'm saying? Would you go scream at a counter about what country do you come from and all that? No, you ain't worried about what country they come from. You should be worried about why am I in a convenience store buying snacks? I should be working out.
And how am I contributing?
How am I contributing to this? But we don't. But you know what? That's easy though. It's easy to look at everybody else. It's easy, right? It's easy to look at everybody else and look at what they shouldn't be doing. It's easy to wonder, well, were they born here? It's easy to wonder why are they in this neighborhood?
So irrelevant.
It's easy. It's easy to do that. That's easy. What's really hard is why do I care? Why? Let me look at me. Why do I care? Why is this so important to me that I got to get up and interrupt my day to go interrupt somebody else's day? What am I going to get out? Why is this so important to me? What about me makes me want to go bother somebody else and not mind my own business? What about me am I not focusing on?
Come on, man.
But nobody wants to do that. I mean, because that's hard.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because
that's hard. And you know what? You're going to go and you're going to start looking at yourself and you're going to find a whole lot of stuff you don't like. You're going to find a whole lot of stuff.
About it.
And then you got to do something about it. Now what are you going to do? Now you got to do something about it.
Bro, I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, if you just look in the mirror and find out, what do I need to do? How am I making
I have to do?
You know, even along those same lines you were hinting, I've told people, look, I don't really want to talk about the problem anymore. I want to talk about solutions.
Absolutely.
How can I contribute to a solution? I know what the problem is. How can I contribute to a solution? Otherwise, I don't want to talk to you.
Absolutely. Talk to me and get up and do something. Like we talked about earlier, get up and do. The Black Square was great. That Blackout Tuesday, that was super. Everybody's apology is super. I'm glad America's had this great spiritual growth. How about a federal anti-lynching bill? How about,
come on, man.
How about legislation on? How about legislation? That's what I need.
How about what LA is doing with the defunding the police, but putting it back in the community? Right? It's not like hurt you. It's like, no, help us all.
Help us all. How about that? That's action to me. That's what excites me. How about boots on the ground? Boots on the ground, protests, and everybody can't stand it. But people don't realize the only time anything's ever changed in this country is when people got out there and people let their voice be heard. That is the only time. That is how the Civil Rights Act was passed. That's how women got the right to vote. That is how
LGBTQ, same thing.
LGBTQ, that's how they got the right to be. That's how they got full marriage rights. Because there was boots on the ground, man. They're out there, they're marching, you're showing your voice. It's not people sitting around complaining. It's getting out there and doing something.
That's real.
Getting out there, belong to organizations. If you have a problem with homelessness, hey, I got a bunch of pantries you can volunteer at and help homeless people get on their feet. If you got a problem with what Black youth are doing, I got an organization you're more than willing to join and you can help. Okay, you can help.
That's
and
real.
Guess what? Just because it says concerned Black men in LA, we will take anybody who's trying to help the kids. So if you got a problem with Black youth, you come to us. We can help. Otherwise, like you said, can't really hear you. I'm focusing on me and how I can help the world, dog. Can't really hear you. Sorry, it's just like Charlie Brown, the adult noise system. It's like that. Wah, wah, wah. If you're not talking about helping, can't really hear you.
Yeah.
You know?
Same,
God bless
man.
you is all I got to say. God bless you is all I got to say.
Yeah, like I ain't even mad at you. I'm just gonna keep moving.
Yeah, God bless you. God bless you. I ain't got time really. You know what I mean?
Dude. I love it.
What else, man? What else? Did we solve the world's problem?
We could easily keep going. It's too easy.
Yeah, we could.
We hitting our time limit in terms of the adult attention span. We want to make sure that they watch it all and take it in and don't get intimidated. But thank you.
Thank you, man.
Like, you really brought out a lot today about why being well is important. Like,
yeah,
it's so you get to be in life. It's so you stop having excuses about life. It's so you stop complaining about others. It's so that you get true fulfillment. Because every guest I've had, bro, all y'all talk about giving. Everyone talks about giving.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone talks about giving.
You can't be about self-improvement and about making yourself better and then look at the world and say you don't care.
Yeah.
You can't truly be about it and look at the you got to give something. You got to do something, because what Tupac said, you owe, man. You owe. You owe. He said, how can I walk past, knowing I got $3,000 in my pocket, how can I walk past a homeless man and not give him something? I owe. That's my rent for being on the planet, man. You know what I mean? That's it. That's my rent. You know?
Okay, that's a topic. And so I'm gonna give it 5 minutes. You said something that's gonna be really critical, right? So you owe.
Yeah. You do.
Man.
You owe. You didn't get here by yourself. When I was one of the things I said when I was giving a speech last year. CBMLA honored me with Mentor of the Year last year. I'm so honored. And I gave them. You like that low key flex?
Yeah, that's why you on here, so people can know.
Yeah. So, and one of the things I said is the term I hated and was pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. And reference something MLK said. That's heartless to say to a man with no boots. You know what I mean? That's really heartless to say to a man with no boots. So how about I help you get some boots, and then I teach you what it is, since you ain't never had no boots. How do you even know where the bootstraps are? So how about I teach you about pulling up the bootstrap, and then you can go teach, and then I help make sure everybody got boots. You know, then we can teach everybody but make sure the funding, so everybody knows how to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps.
Come on,
man. You owe, man. You owe, whether you think you do or not. You owe. You didn't do this by yourself. You didn't make anything by yourself. Somebody gave you a break somewhere.
Dude.
Somebody looked at you. Somebody interviewed you and thought you were good. Wherever you got, somebody helped you. So you owe. Listen, you may not owe that person, but you owe.
Man, listen, to all my white friends, my non-black friends who have a concern, who are saying, I truly want to help, you owe.
Mm-hmm. You owe.
Not like your fault, but your responsibility.
Absolutely.
To contribute, to offer skills. I am really, really quick. 2 quick plugs. A couple companies I've worked with, they have been doing a phenomenal job. And real quick, for those of you who are concerned about companies jumping on the bandwagon, please be quiet, because I'd rather they be on the wagon.
Absolutely.
Cultural shift than not at all. So just stop.
Absolutely. Please, yes, stop that. Stop that. Just stop that. I don't care. I mean, here's the deal. Like, it's like the seatbelt law. If you're wearing the seatbelt because you think it's a good thing to do, or you're wearing it because you're going to get a ticket if you don't, I don't care. Just wear your seatbelt. If they're giving money to us because they're pandering us, or if they're giving money to us because they truly care, I don't care. The money's still coming to us. So stop it. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Yes. And so, like Rodan and Fields, the company I sell skincare for, they were already doing things to help communities in need. So it's not new. They already had a sister on the board who leads a whole lot of the training and development. So those things were already happening. To my other company, Pinnacle, that I work with, where we train people around the world to use presentation skills with acting techniques as a foundation for how we teach those corporations. They're actively engaged. From the moment I partnered with that company, they've been that way. So I am truly grateful for the people and companies that get it, that say, no, I do owe to a better world for my peers to live in, for my children to live in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's what it means to owe. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It just means you get to be responsible. To your
you get to be responsible. You accountable. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what that means. You're just accountable. You do owe. Everybody
Yes.
owes. We all
Yes.
owe.
We all owe.
We can't.
I owe.
We all owe. We
I
all.
owe.
Otherwise, you what my uncle used to call an oxygen thief. That's how you are, man. You're sucking all the oxygen for the rest away from the rest of us. I need to give a plug for my companies real quick before we leave. Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram, James3261. Instagram and Twitter, James3261. Company website is jktrust.net. JKT Financial Group. We own a couple companies. I own another company in Texas, JKT Packaging Solutions. That's at jktpackagingsolutions.com. So find me on Instagram and Twitter, James3261. Website, jktrust.net. All right.
Love it. Hold on one sec, bro. I'll be right with you. And say goodbye to people. You owe. And what 10 things are you going to get done before 10 a.m.? I don't know. But if you don't take care of you first, how then can you give? And then if you don't take care of you first, all you're going to be left to do is complain. Mr. James Jones shared a treasure chest today. I hope you listen. Pay attention. Write down some things. Take action immediately. That's one of the best ways to learn, is to take action immediately and then share it with someone else or teach it to someone else so you retain it and make it a part of who you are. It's Wellness Wednesday. Marquise Martin Hayes. It has been a pleasure to be your host. Go out and be better. Ciao.